In this video, we're gonna do a deep dive on some underrated projects you gotta look out for, as well as some hot projects that have the potential to do well even during a NFT bear. First project we are going to be talking about is going to be Nanoverse. Now, if you've been on their Twitter recently, you have seen that they came out with this trailer for what their phase 2 is gonna be like. So when you're first watching it, you're like, okay, cool, it's like this waifu anime kind of girl and she's like just going about her day. When you get to the end of the trailer, what you actually realize is that this character is actually an artificial intelligence that lives on your computer. And you see this guy over here is on his computer kind of talking to his companion over there, right? And Nanoverse did talk about this, in some of their interviews in the past, but essentially when they're gonna be launching phase 2, which is gonna be a PFP profile picture type of project for their Nanoverse ecosystem, well, this thing is gonna have artificial intelligence. Think of like, let's say Siri, but a lot more smarter, and they're hiring like all these engineers to actually build artificial intelligence that you can actually emotionally connect to. Kind of feels like the movie Her, right? Where the guy has a relationship with his AI companion, but maybe this is the future that we're going to. So it's definitely an interesting play. It's a lot more interesting than just like a pretty picture, for example, right? Not only that, but if you kind of see in their latest update, they said that they partnering with Columbia Records and Sony Music. So how are they going to implement this music into the Nanoverse ecosystem? It remains to be seen, but you can bet that they're going to take their shot and try to provide more utility for their holders. And if they can integrate like licensed music somehow with their NFT and combine that with artificial intelligence, well, that's a lot more utility than a lot of people are coming out with. Next project we're gonna talk about is going to be Ellio Trades Imposters. Now, this project had a lot of FUD going on, and they changed the price and made it cheaper. And so now they released some tokenomics of how Imposters is going to work. Okay, so it seems like the governance token that they're gonna be using is Superfarm, which is the token that Ellio Trades came out with, a way while back. And so I guess it's all integrated together. It seems like they're gonna create a DAO that will have a 5% ecosystem tax, and the DAO will essentially control how the funds will be used. So this is basically like a simple idea of how it works. So Imposters, if you don't know what it is, it's kind of like a play on Among Us, but made it more 3D and crypto and adding like NFT metaverse into it, right? A lot of buzzwords. So essentially all the money goes to the company and then it goes to the DAO, which the DAO will be used to give it back to the community. And it seems like it's only gonna be 5%. So it's not a lot, but it's still something. And it seems like, this game is not just gonna be a copy of Among Us. I believe they're trying to build multiple games under one umbrella. So you see this racing UFO games, you see this pets, and then somehow these pets are gonna battle, and somehow you're gonna be able to use land and everything's gonna connect together. High level overview, right? Without going into the weeds of it, they're building an ecosystem, everything's gonna be somewhat valuable, everything's gonna be somewhat connected with each other. You can go on their white paper and kind of check out what the Genesis collection is all about, what's the difference between the Genesis, UFO, or the pet ecosystem, or the land ecosystem, right? So there's many nuances to this. And again, it's just like a white paper, so it's just a plan of what they think will happen, and it's always subject to change. Quite interesting that they're going for the ecosystem play versus just one single game that lives on its own. And that actually leads us to this next topic, which I read this article by Richard Cabrera, and he did this Tokenomics 101 kind of thing, right? And the idea is that, for every game, every NFT project, when they say they're gonna come out with a token, the most important thing you need to think about is what will those tokens be used for, right? So it doesn't matter if, you have an NFT that earns like 10 tokens a day, because what if those tokens are worth like almost zero, right? How you wanna evaluate these projects to see if it's even worth your time to buy this NFT and hold it and use your tokens is to understand where the sinks are. And sinks are just like ways to like use tokens and burn the tokens, right? Like water going into a sink. When it comes to video games, right? An important thing that this article points out is that there are different type of players in video games. So like for me, for example, I like to play Dota 2, and I'm willing to spend money on skins, right? And skins doesn't affect the game. It doesn't make you play better. It doesn't save you time. It's just flexing on other people and being like, yo, I got this skin, right? Other people, they like to save time, so they'll play like gacha games where they can pay money to level up their characters faster. So there's many different ways to burn money in a game and to create that sink. So just understand, like every game, there's gonna be different type of people depending on their actual personality that they grew up with, right? And then when we're looking at the utility of, let's say, where these tokens can be used, some examples would be clout, right? So like, for example, I said like people wanna buy skins, wraps, collectibles, and just show people like, yo, I'm flexing on you. Other people are more social, so they're gonna pay for opportunity, access to meet other people. Other people like to have advantages in the game. So like if it speeds up your ability to level up faster, if it makes you play the game better, or if you have like an OP character that just kills everything, some people pay for that. Other people, they just wanna make money. They wanna buy the thing, they wanna stake it, they wanna double whatever they put in, right? Experience, obviously just having a better experience when playing the game, and time, right? Saving time in some way, like leveling up faster, right? So when we're looking at, let's say, Imposters or like any NFT, like CyberKongz or like any GameFi kind of project, always look at where the tokenomics going, like how are the tokens are gonna be used, and do people actually value those things? Because if people are just making up use cases for tokens and they're not really hitting the core driver of human needs, then it's not gonna be useful at all. And real quick, if you want the latest updates on Alpha and things I'm checking out, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Patrick Dang. And if you are in Jakarta, Indonesia for the Car Free Festival, I'm gonna be there. So that's you, just hit me up on Twitter and maybe we can meet up. So, and speaking of tokens, let's go ahead and talk about Kaiju Kingz, because I know you guys love Kaiju Kingz. Their NFTs floor is like rising up. So they recently released this play to earn status update. I'm seeing this for the first time as I'm doing this video. So as we know, they're creating a game, Monster, right? Supposedly a large play to earn like game. They're gonna have more NFTs, which is the scientists, right? The lower tier ones. And then they also created some of these nice infographics, right? Essentially, like I said before, like what are the tokens being used? Like if it earns passive income, not really, but like scales and R-ways, right? Like, what do you do with them? So you stake the tokens and then you get this DNA and then they're gonna be worth something, and then you take those DNAs and then you're gonna somehow combine it with your other kaiju and it's gonna create more kaiju, something like that. So essentially, Kaiju Kingz, they make R-ways, and the other lower tiers like the babies and the mutants, they're gonna create these tokens called scales. These scales will be used in a game, and then that game will attract more users, and then it creates more value for the entire ecosystem as the whole thing grows, right? And that's just a high level overview. I'm probably not getting everything right, so please don't like say I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't know what I'm talking about. And also on this blog post, you know, they have different infographics of like, it's kind of like a DeFi game, right? Where you have a chance to make money, you have a chance to steal money, and then you have, you know, more sinks of like R-ways being used, right? So even though they have two tokens now, right, scale and R-ways, they're still trying to implement R-ways so that it doesn't just go to zero. And then they're gonna be scientists, which can also get scales, extract DNA, make baby kaiju, I guess, or I'm not sure what's going on with baby kaiju. But and then over here, going down more, we have merch as well. So they're trying to make like more of a streetwear kind of vibe. I like these slides, actually. The shirt's not really my style, but I'm sure other people like it. It'd be interesting to see like how you can buy these things, whether it's, you know, paying Ethereum, USDT, or what if it was like using your tokens to buy clothes. That would be quite an interesting idea, right? Okay, and so they're gonna be having more updates of like having Q&As every week, or they're trying to put their computer game onto iOS and Android. This is a team that's definitely building for the long term, so I can see why Kaiju Genesis have been pumping quite a bit, because people are thinking like, oh my god, like these tokens are gonna be valuable because it's one of the only teams that actually built something. And actually that's kind of true. But yeah, man, it's all about how you provide utility, and especially like if you have a token, like what are you actually doing with that token? Because a lot of people, they're making empty promises, but they're not doing anything, and then it's like it's gonna go to zero, right? But Kaiju Kingz looks like, you know, they're doing a good job so far. In other news, let's talk about security real quick. There's this guy, Arthur 0x, and he's basically this founder of this company called DeFi Finance Capital. I don't know him too much, I follow him on Twitter, but like he seems to be a veteran in the crypto space. And unfortunately, he had his wallet compromised. He's getting drained out of like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like close to $1 million, I think. And then somebody just hacked his wallet and they're just selling everything for cheap, and then they're just like taking all the ETH. This is just a lesson, like, you know, if you're watching this and you're a beginner, or maybe you're someone who's experienced, just understand that even if you think you know what you're doing and you think you're safe, make sure you really know what you're doing, because like these kind of hacks can literally happen to anyone. Even for myself, I'm doing different things to prevent myself from getting hacked or getting my seed phrase exposed or anything like that. So make sure to stay safe, because you know, you can put all your energy into this game and you can like buy NFTs and trade, and you can make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then if you just make one mistake, click one bad link, maybe it's all gone, right? And so you definitely need to make sure you understand the security risk and maybe diversify where you put your, you know, assets, because if one thing gets hacked, how about not everything get hacked, right? That's just something to keep in mind, because that's something that I'm personally thinking about right now. Next project we're gonna talk about is gonna be Project Godjira. Now, Project Godjira started with 333 Genesis NFTs, and they expanded into 3,333. And I feel like when they started their project of doing the low supply meta, that really kind of changed the game, right? So there's like 333 of these like Genesis ones. The art, like we talked about this before, I personally doesn't look that good to me. It's acquired taste, I guess. But you know, 4 of these is gonna be 11.5 ETH, and then the Genesis 2, it's gonna be like 2 ETH for Gen 2, not revealed yet. Why I kind of want to talk about them today is because I feel like they're a project that kind of focuses more on utility as a PFP, which is quite inspiring to see. Because if you look at one of the things that they recently did is they partnered up with another project and they created these like physical Godjira like custom dog tags, which is a nice thing. It's not like, oh my god, that's so cool, but like it is kind of cool, you know what I mean? I found this post that the founder put up, and essentially he's just kind of put out the roadmap to his followers of like, hey guys, this is what we're trying to do in terms of utility. You know, some of these things have already been done by Cyberkongs and Kaiju Kingz, so some of it is like nothing new, but other things that they're trying to do is like deflationary game mechanics of like creating like these titans, these megas and hybrids by, you know, burning 2 Godjiras and combining it to create another one, right? And so it's interesting that they would purposely burn their supply to create these rare ones, and I guess that would maybe increase the floor price or like create interesting mechanics for people. And they're also trying to do like real world utility, like sandbox stuff. We've seen it before, NFT Worlds, we've seen it before, Jira Tank, we've seen Kong's Tank, right? In real life events where you actually meet people in person, that's pretty cool. And in some ways, they're kind of like checking all the boxes of like, we're trying to give you utility. How it will actually turn out remains to be seen, but overall, they've been pretty transparent with how they do things. It doesn't seem like they're in it for the short term, they seem like they're in it for the long term. So definitely a project that I would check out and learn from actually, because they're a team that's trying to innovate on utility and trying to do all these things. But I respect it, definitely respect it. The final project we're gonna be talking about is going to be a new project, and it's called BF Party. Now, there's not a lot of information about it besides this nicely done trailer over here. I mean, it just looks cool, but remains to be seen on what's it all about. The art itself is quite unique. I'm not sure why there's like these kids tied up and then there's like this girl that's like pretty much naked, but interesting. Why I want to talk about this is because from my understanding, this project is very tied into NanoPass and the Nanoverse in some way, right? And again, like Nanoverse is trying to build an entire ecosystem, and they're trying to get founders to build within their ecosystem. So it's like, instead of doing it on your own, why not just join an ecosystem with a lot of people, so that when you launch your project, a bunch of people will buy it because they're fans of NanoPass already, right? That's kind of smart and Nanoverse's strategy to onboard like founders who want to build on their platform. Besides that, there's not really much information about it. I do know that it's going to be some kind of play to earn game, but remains to be seen. But like, it's definitely something that you should probably follow. Give it a follow right now. Maybe join their Discord. If it's part of the Nanoverse, probably a bunch of people are going to buy it just because they're fans of like PXN, Nanoverse, NFT keys. It's like that demographic. They have a pretty strong grasp on that niche. And so with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to follow me on Twitter and join our Discord. I'll see you guys in the next one.